right. Good evening, everybody. I think we are live on both Instagram and Facebook. Um, it's been a crazy day, and I'm sure you've all had days like I just had today. I am not where I wanted to be. Um, I am not wearing a Hawaiian shirt this week or this month. I got stuck running errands in Fairbanks and had to swing by a friend's house to borrow a quiet corner to be able to do our live event tonight. So, with that, I am going to have to basically hold the phone with both hands to make sure that we're able to do this. And I apologize to the folks on Facebook because you're probably getting a little bit of motion discomfort there. So, anyway, it is good to be able to see some familiar names popping up. So now we've got a lot of folks already starting to tune in tonight for the December 2020 Government Affairs Live Update. So lots of things to talk about, and I don't want to take too much of your time. Look for an article in the next edition of the Transponder to talk about a lot of these things. But some exciting things are happening in the Airmen's Association. You know that we've got the raffle underway. There's a holiday party, a virtual, I guess, event and party this Friday night. And so be looking for more information about that. You probably should have already gotten an email if you're an Alaska Airmen's member talking about that. You've probably seen some of it already discussed on our social media outlets. So look forward to seeing you there as well. There's going to be an update from Acme Cub Training about the raffle plane. So that's going to be exciting to see. And there's a possibility of some other exciting news. I can't talk too much about that right now, but there's been a lot of things in the works. One thing that I can talk about is that you will most likely be able to see and interact and talk with our new executive director. And if you are in the aviation industry here in Alaska, or even from the lower 48, or even around the world, and if you've done anything with Airframes Alaska, you probably will recognize the name Abby Austin. Abby is our new executive director. We're excited to have her on board here at the Alaska Airmen's Association, and you'll have an opportunity to interact with her a little bit on Friday night. So I want to make sure to get that announcement out there and do that. Some of the other things that are happening with the Airmen's Association, you've probably noticed we've got a new website that's been redesigned. If you are trying to get into the membership portal, you most likely are going to have to come up with a new password for that. Apologize, but that's part of revamping and modernizing. One of the things that's happened with that revamping of the website, some of the information on the pilot resources page has been moved around a little bit, and we're trying very hard to get a lot of those Anchorage Part 93 procedures back up for you to be able to download and then use in your favorite EFB app. So that's probably, looking at my list here, I think that's probably all I'm going to talk about some of that housekeeping things. So what are we talking about with government affairs? You probably have heard that there's a potential government shutdown, a federal government shutdown looming, that if Congress doesn't get some things done before Friday, we're most likely looking at another potential government shutdown. Not exactly sure what that's going to do for us for the FAA. I've got some questions out to some of my contacts, and they're not real sure just yet. Hopefully, the FAA won't be impacted near as bad as it has been in the past with these government shutdowns that happen because of budgetary issues and DC just not being able to get their act together. So that's one of the big things I'm looking at right now. A lot of things happening on Friday, because this Friday, the governor of Alaska releases his budget for next year. I am waiting to be able to get a hold of that. I've seen some preliminary numbers already, but looking to see what that's going to do for us for aviation here in Alaska. And so I have heard, actually I was in a meeting today with the Governor's Aviation Advisory Board, and Commissioner McKinnon for DOT says that he does not expect any major changes for DOT's budget for the state of Alaska. And you may know this already, but DOT in Alaska has faced $23 million in reductions in their budget for over the past 7 years. That's a huge chunk. Very little increase in revenue. You may remember that the Airmen's Association, after talking to a lot of you, officially came out in support of a modest increase in aviation fuel taxes. That has not gone anywhere, didn't go anywhere last year. COVID kind of shut things down in Juneau, and they never were able to get to that. This year it might come up again, so stay tuned for the possibility of entertaining that conversation once again. Again, the position of the Airmen's Association has been, and most likely will continue to be, that fuel taxes are the most equitable way for us to be able to pay for the system that we enjoy and appreciate having here in Alaska. User fees, not a good idea. Landing fees, not a good idea for us. The other revenue sources that have been talked about just don't seem to work out near as well as a fuel tax increase. So we do pay a statistically an average fuel tax that's much lower than the rest of the United States. Our fuel is much more expensive for other reasons here in Alaska, but it's not because of the taxes that are added to it. So look for more information about that discussion in the coming months. CARES Act, all that funding has been a huge benefit for state DOT, and because of that, they're doing pretty well. Obviously, not near as well as they'd like to, but that's one of the main reasons why their funding budget was not cut. At least it's not anticipated that we'll see a cut in their budget when the governor releases his final or his budget in end of the week. So looking here again at my list, a couple of things on the horizon that if you have a private airport or if you are involved with a private airport, please make sure that your contact information is current with the FAA. The FAA is looking to clean up their database of private airfields, and if they cannot get in touch with you, that's a problem, and they most likely will clean the database and registry off starting in January of 2021, and so you need to make sure your information is current. If you do not know how to do that, please reach out to me and I will help you figure that out. There's an online way to do that. Some folks have been having a little bit of problem with the FAA website, but I can help you navigate that if you need some help doing that. So once again, if you have a private airstrip and you want it to continue to be listed in the Alaska Supplement or to be listed in FAA publications, you need to make sure your information is current with the FAA. So need to work on that. Speaking of airports, speaking of Part 93 airspace, talked about that in the Anchorage area. Ketchikan has Part 93 airspace as well. One thing that I noticed, because I'm doing some flight planning and most likely will be flying through the Ketchikan area in a small general aviation airplane before the end of the year, the Ketchikan Part 93 airspace is no longer available in the Alaska Supplement. It disappeared a few cycles back. I've been told by Flight Service, they were very helpful when I called them and said, hey, where is that? I need that information. So I've been able to get a copy of that again. They realize that's an issue, that it's not available in the supplement, and they are working to get that accomplished. Not sure if it's going to happen by the next publication cycle, but look for the Ketchikan Part 93 procedures to show back up in the Alaska Supplement in the near future. So that's good to hear. Let's see. Oh, speaking of airports, private airports, and the FAA is in the process of reviewing and looking at and potentially changing some of the VFR procedures at private airports in the Fairbanks area. We all know that there was a very tragic mid-air collision this summer or this fall here in the Fairbanks area, and the FAA, while waiting on the NTSB to come out with their final decision as to the causal factors and other things involved with that tragedy, the FAA is starting to have a conversation about, are we doing the right thing? Is there something we can change? There are improvements that we can make. And so those of us in the Fairbanks area be looking for some outreach and maybe some input as to what your opinions might be about some potential changes for procedures coming and going from some private airports in the Fairbanks area. let's see, Flying Crown Airport. I mentioned this last month. Flying Crown there in South Anchorage is in the middle of a lawsuit with the Alaska Railroad. The Alaska Railroad contends that right-of-way issues seem to be pretty heavy-handed with coming in and wanting to have exclusive use of their right-of-way, and it's totally different than utility right-of-ways. The railroad wanting to make sure that they have a safety zone, just like we enjoy having for airports, but it's causing some problems with some landowners, and it has some potential for being a precedent-setting case that may not be good for aviation. And so Alaska Airmen's Association is watching that case very closely, and if you have some more interest in that, I can send you to some places where you can find out some more information. Going to try to get an article in the next transponder outlining some more of those details and some of the issues involved with that case. So just want to make sure folks are aware of that, and if you are curious to know more, be glad to send you some more information if you just reach out to me. Looking at my list, let's see, Clear, down southwest of Fairbanks, between Fairbanks and Windy Pass. Just want to remind you that the comments are due for that latest round of the process there to expand the restricted area. Comments are due by December 21st. If you want more information, you can reach out to me, or you can go to cleareis.com. That's cleareis.com. That stands for Environmental Impact Statement, and find out some more information there. There's lots of diagrams, availability to download the several hundred-page document that I've been working through here for the past couple of months. And so a lot of good information there. But again, just a reminder that your comments are due by the 21st. And if you do comment, please do me a favor and send me a copy of your comments. I want to make sure that we're keeping track of that stuff and that we are advocating for all of our members. So please do that for me if you don't mind. Just wanted to quickly mention that some folks are looking for some Christmas ideas. And so we're coming into the holiday season. And you've heard me talk about these things in the past, but probably one of the best things that you can look at getting for a pilot friend or family member or even yourself might be some satellite tracking devices. And there's lots of different ones out on the market. I use two different kinds. I've used different ones in the past, but and not going to endorse one over another here, but just want to make sure that folks are aware that some of these devices are part of the enhanced ESRS special and I'm trying to remember that acronym now that I'm live on the internet. Special reporting service is what that is, with flight service stations here in Alaska. If you do come up missing, if you haven't checked in at a specific time, or if you activate the search and rescue function of these devices, Flight Service has the ability now to be included in your contact list when you do hit that SOS button. So lots of advantages to that. It shortens search and rescue times. It adds a lot of peace of mind to your family to know where you are and that everything is still okay. And some of those devices out on the market include Spot, InReach, Track Plus, Spider Tracks, several other venues out there that perform that service. Personally, I have a Spider Tracks unit in both of my aircraft that I fly on a consistent basis. I carry an InReach device in my flight vest and a personal locator beacon. Some folks say that I may be paranoid, but I don't think I'm paranoid. How's the saying go? Just because you're paranoid doesn't mean they're out to get you. So anyway, if you're looking for some Christmas ideas for pilots in your family or in your social circles, satellite tracking devices may be a good option for you. Also, just want to let everybody know that a great aviation legend passed away yesterday. General Chuck Yeager passed away yesterday at 97 years old. Chuck Yeager, also known for being the first person to break the speed of sound. And I'll tell you that he influenced me as a young person to pursue my desires of being in aviation. Read his book at an early age, My father was able to get us autographed copy of his biography for me, and General Chuck Yeager wrote in the front of it, "Adam, never stop pursuing your dreams," and signed it, Chuck Yeager. It's a very special thing for me, but we lost a legend yesterday, that's for sure. So, and with that, I've worked through everything on my list here this evening for the government affairs update for December 2020. December, I'm bringing 2020 to a close, and boy, it's been a crazy year, hasn't it? Hopeful that next year will be much better. We are still pursuing all avenues to continue with planning to have the Great Alaska Aviation Gathering in May. So keep a close watch on our social media outlets and on our website and emails as that process continues. But we are continuing with that planning process to have the Great Alaska Aviation Gathering in May, the first weekend of May, there in Anchorage. So with that, I want to continue to remind folks to renew your membership. December is a big month for people to renew their membership, especially folks that have been members for many, many years, because traditionally, all of our memberships expired in January, but now it's a rolling expiration depending on when you first signed up. So December is a big month for membership renewals. I want to remind people to renew your membership, because adding your voice to the 2,000 other of us as part of the Alaska Airmen's Association definitely adds weight and lends credence to our vitality and viability in the aviation industry. And when I go and meet with government officials, whether it's in person, which I sorely miss doing, but it's all virtual these days, it gives us validity to say that we have 2,000 members, 2,000 plus members standing behind me and representing your interest. So with that, I wanted to say thanks for watching, thanks for participating, and I'll bring you another update in January or sooner if the need so warrants. Look for the next edition of the Transponder to be coming out soon. And again, want to make a special welcome to our new Executive Director, Abby Austin. And don't forget that this Friday night is a special online event with Acme Cub with an update on the raffle airplane and some holiday time together. Normally we would have holiday parties in Anchorage and in Fairbanks, but not going to do that this year because of COVID. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. And again, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me either through social media or via my email address that's on our website. You can go to alaskaairmen.org and you can reach out to me there. You can call the office and they can get me in touch with you. So with that, I'm going to say good night, and we'll talk to everybody again later. And happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Hanukkah, whatever it is you may celebrate. But we're looking forward to Christmas in my family. Good night.